I don't have my, of course I forgot my other set of notes, but welcome. This is the April meeting of the Parks and Recreation Committee, Ward 2. I'm Barbara Zoller-Gringer, the co-chair of the committee, along with Andrew Ostawecki, my co-chair, and our secretary, Thomas Huzi. Thanks to everyone for being here this evening. We are recording this pursuant to the to law, in accordance with law, and we ask everyone to keep their microphones muted when they're not speaking. So if we could just go around the screen, Mackenzie, maybe I see you there. Maybe we'll have our committee members introduce themselves.
Hi, I'm Mackenzie Fillo.
Linda.
Hi, everyone. I'm Melinda Rasco.
Doug, you're next to her.
Hi, everyone. Doug Bettner. Nice to see you.
Jennifer.
Hello, Jennifer Melby, member of the committee.
Thomas.
Hi, Thomas Huzi, member of the committee and secretary.
Richard.
Hi, Richard Morrow, a community member of the committee.
Thank you. I don't see any other members at the moment. I want to jump to the adoption of the agenda. Hopefully all the members have looked at the agenda. Can I have a motion to adopt it? Andrew, a second. Doug, all in favor? Looks like it's unanimous. Thank you. I hope everyone has had an opportunity to look at the minutes. I have to tell you, I do not have one change to recommend. I thought they were really perfect. And does anybody have any, other than does anybody have any changes to the minutes? Okay, that will assume that they've been confirmed by consensus. That leads us now to our presentation this evening. I hope all of you are familiar with Partnerships for Parks. Heard from them on any number of occasions before. They are a great partner. If you're not that familiar with them, they truly are a unique public-private partnership between City Parks Foundation and the New York City Parks. I'm never quite sure how that works, but it works well. And they support and champion neighborhood volunteers by providing the tools needed to advocate and care for neighborhood parks and green spaces, helping to transform those into dynamic community assets. And we know how important parks and green spaces are to any neighborhood. So with that, I'm really delighted to introduce the Brooklyn Senior Outreach Coordinator for Partnerships for Parks. Is it Anya Hoyer? I will turn this over to you. Thank you for being here tonight.
Great. Thank you so much, Barbara, for the introduction. Hello, everyone. I am Anya Hoyer from Partnerships for Parks. So I'm going to share a screen tonight. Just out of curiosity, how many of you have heard a presentation from Partnerships for Parks before? Go ahead. Okay, so not everyone. Great. So that gives me a little idea of what I can share. So let me just open up this one moment.
Right before you start, I'd just like to acknowledge we have another committee member, Carolyn Hubbard-Kamanagori, who's just joined us. Thank you, Carolyn.
Great. And I will also mention that I'm joined by Claudette Ramos, who's our outreach director. She's based in the Arsenal in Manhattan, but has a long history in Brooklyn. So I'm sharing now. And can everyone see that?
Yes, that looks great.
Okay, awesome. Great. So I'm from Partnerships for Parks. As it says, the joint project of New York City Parks Department and the City Parks Foundation. So just, I'm going to go through a little bit of an overview, and then I'll talk a little bit about the parks in your district. and then how you can get involved, and then I'll take some questions. So starting out, as I just said, we're a public-private partnership between City Parks Foundation is one half, that's our private half, and then New York City Parks is the other half. And we work together to support and champion neighborhood volunteers. We host cleanups, we host basically anything that needs improvement in your parks, beautification. We bring the volunteers together and support those spaces, green spaces, parks. So what we do and why we do it. So mostly we work with volunteers at Partnerships for Parks, and we are committed to improving, beautifying parks, local green spaces in every community throughout all 5 boroughs. And we help volunteers, people who are interested, whether you have skills or you're brand new, help develop those volunteers into community leaders and really try to get community participation in a long-term strategic way in those parks so that there can be long-term care stewardship in our parks. There are over 2,000 parks in New York City, and Claudette, you could say the number exactly if you know it, but yeah, about a fifth of those or more are in Brooklyn, so over 500 in Brooklyn. And we believe at Partnerships for Parks that when parks are thriving and doing well, neighborhoods are also thriving, people are also thriving because we all commonly share parks. Our signature project, and you've probably seen these in your own community, whether you know it or not, are called It's My Park. And those are neighborhood cleanup events that we help organize, neighborhood volunteers, neighborhood long-term and brand new stewards of parks to come in and clean. That can be anything from painting fences to cleaning up garbage to planting plants. We work with, in addition to neighborhood volunteers, we work with corporate projects, and we work with different, we call them episodic groups, but one-time groups that come in, like from a local school or university, other organizations like that. And we bring them the supplies and give them the training and help them take care of local parks. So here's Community Board 2. And these are all the parks listed on the side, and there's actually a couple other unnamed parks, so I didn't add those in there, but I think by my accounting, you have about 55 different parks or green spaces in your district, which is awesome. And just a comparison, so here's a list of all the parks, and then the next screen shows some of our more active groups that we work with, Partnerships works with. So this is not 100% of these are active right now, but these are all active partners in the past, and quite a few of them are active now. So just to go back, if you take a look at this list, and then just to go back, you can see how many parks in your district, and not all of them have friends groups or stewardship groups. So it would be great to get some more people activated in some of those other parks. And then all of these groups, we also help plug people in to those groups. So if a volunteer wants to volunteer in a park that has a group already, they can start their own, or they can just join in with an ongoing activity. So here's some of the ways that we help volunteers get engaged with their local green spaces. We offer, as I mentioned in the middle, Support Your Park, we help organize just general cleanups and beautification projects, and we provide the supplies, the resources, tools, the plants, things like that. But we also offer learning opportunities, so workshops. We run workshops all season long. We have Parks Academy classes. We do trainings, we do coaching. So there's a lot of opportunities there. And then we also have a grant aspect to our program, so we can help groups get fiscal sponsorship, help them apply for grants, help them with design support. And also we just connect you with all the local New York City parks support that you might need. So whether that's a gardener, horticulture group, we're your liaison for that. So let's take, and I just wanted to highlight that Earth Day is coming up this Saturday. So if anyone does want to plug in right away and just sort of see what we're doing, there's a little link down here at the bottom that is our calendar, and you can, it's a great resource actually, if you want. This PowerPoint has some links in it. Let's see if I can link through. I don't think it works in the screen share option. But anyway, that's the link. I can add links to the chat to later, but where you can go and you can search by borough, you can search by neighborhood, you can search by park, and see what activities are already underway. And we have a ton coming up this weekend. So it'd be fun if anyone does want to get involved in a local park, check it out, or you can call me. I'd be happy to help plug you into any of the many, many events that we have coming up. And this is a little bit, this is my information. I'll put this into the chat as well so that you can have direct outreach to me. And yeah, that's a bit about Partnerships for Parks. And if Claudette would like to add anything, you're welcome to. And I'm happy to take some questions.
I guess I could add just to say thank you guys for having this meeting. This is great. I get a chance to meet Anya, who is our new senior OC. We're excited to have her. Carmine is going to be transitioning. He was with the district for a little bit. He's still going to be with the Parks Department, but he should be leaving at the end of the month or early into middle of May or so. So we're just trying to structure our staff, so that we don't have any hiccups. And we work closely with the parks manager and the regional manager in the district. And I see Anya put her information up there. If you have any questions that we don't cover tonight, you could always reach out to us and we'd be more than happy to help you guys in any way that we can. And thank you, Taya, also for the communication back and forth regarding this meeting.
So happy to take any questions if you have any.
Sure. Do any of the committee members have questions? I have a question. I was wondering if you could give us an example of some initiative that Partnerships Parks had worked on with a local park or green space.
Sure, if you don't mind, I would pull up this screen again just to show you a couple of lists, the list of a couple of the organizations in your district. So let me just show you that, and then I can talk about them. But definitely, that's not the right screen. Sorry. Let's see here. Oh, sorry. The Zoom controls are cutting off my access. There we go. Can everyone see that?
Yes.
Okay, awesome. So, so these are, like I said, some of the active groups in your district. So the Cadman, I think the Cadman Park Conservancy is very active. Cadman, Park Conservancy, very active. A lot of these groups have developed. They started out as groups that were beginning and bringing together people, and now they're very sustainable. So the Cadman Park Conservancy is obviously a good example of that. We also have smaller groups such as the Friends of the Hillside Dog Park, very active, a little bit smaller, but very active. And Friends of McLaughlin Park just last week had an It's My Park event, cleanup event. Willowtown Association is also very active. And I mean, a lot of these, it just depends on your local park. So we'd like to listen to what the local park users want to see and then kind of work with them to develop the resources that they want, what would improve their park for the people who are using it. So some examples, the Willowtown Association and the Hillside Association, I know have taken some parts of the park and there was more of a need for some dog areas. So they've sort of restructured some of those parts. And I know we've heard from, let's see, at the last community board meeting, we talked quite a bit about South Oxford Park. What to do there. Let's see, Claudette, do you have anything that you want to highlight in here? A lot of these groups are doing just great things, but each of them are different, so they're groups. So go ahead if you want to bring it.
Yeah, I could talk more about the commissioners, the past commissioners' agendas that they focused on. Some initiatives were Parks Without Borders. We did Community Parks Initiative. We had spring cleaning. We had Monday morning pitching for parks. All those had to do with a lot of our staff just doing scope meetings and sometimes a lot of them doing volunteer projects and cleanups throughout the 5 boroughs. Of course, we focused on Brooklyn, and in this case, for your district in District 2. We know that we work closely a lot with some of the groups that are at these local parks that are leaders now that do It's My Park projects. We have those listed on our website as well at City Parks Foundation. If you're ever curious to, just see on a Saturday or Sunday, if you want to stop by one of those projects, we list them for the different various boroughs and districts. So you could always look into that or reach out to Anya, of course, whoever your district person, in this case, it will be Anya. So she could direct you in terms of what's happening for the weekend. Or if you guys would like in the future, we could also send you some listings of upcoming projects, that way, if you don't feel like going on the website, I know some of the community boards request that they like to have, projects sent. We do have a newsletter that goes out. Not sure if you guys are on the list, but I think you are, and that lists some of our projects as well.
That sounds interesting. I was wondering, typically, does a group from a park go to you and ask for assistance? Is that how it works?
Well, I'm sorry, could you repeat the question, Barbara? It cut out.
Is it that group of people at a park come to you with an idea or for looking for assistance? Is that how you get involved with a particular park?
Yes, generally that is the way. So some people come and want to plug in with an existing group. Other people would like to have a few, community members that want to start a new group, and we can facilitate both and are happy to help with both. And sometimes both, sometimes there's an existing group, but also a group of neighbors wants to get together and have their own, say, a Thursday morning cleanup that doesn't exist. So we can facilitate both and definitely are happy to plug people in, whichever way they're looking for specifically, but yeah, generally that's the way it is.
So does anyone not on the committee, but is a member of the board have any questions? Do any of our guests tonight have any questions?
I guess I could ask one, if that's okay.
Sure.
Hi, my name is Andrew, and I worked with CB2 here on, I'm part of NYC Bike Polo, and we're trying to find a home and a place to play. So everybody here mostly knows that. And one of the difficulties that I found so far, like kind of working with partnerships for parks, is that it seems that you kind of already have to have a park in mind, whereas there's nothing like that for us. And we're trying to find a place where we could like advocate and try to have a home. And we would love to, like join or start a friends group if and when that happens one day. But, it seems like the main focus is like, if you have a park and you want to join, go ahead. I don't know if there's ever examples of people more like with our problem where we don't have a home.
Yeah, that's an interesting question, Andrew. Definitely.
Yeah, I could answer that for him.
Go for it, Claudette. Yeah.
Actually, no, you do not have to have a particular park in mind. We have a number of organizations that we work with throughout the entire 5 boroughs. An example is H2O. We have some groups that do literacy and have libraries in the park that come out. We have trail folks that work with us as well throughout the 5 boroughs. So the good thing is, it'll be better if you could kind of focus or hone in on a couple locations in the borough. That way you could reach out to that particular outreach director or outreach coordinator, I must say. But you definitely don't have to have one park. We could work with a number of companies. We also work with the Lions Club and throughout the 5 boroughs. That's another example. They have particular stuff that they do in Brownsville and Brooklyn. Sometimes they're in Crown Heights, other times they're at Fulton Park, Chester Playground, and I could go on. They have like 4 or 5 locations that they work out of. So sometimes if you could kind of focus on maybe 5 or 3 locations and just, kind of be flexible in terms of when you go there and the different dates, it could work. It's working for us. We do that with a number of organizations.
I guess, Andrew, your question is also sort of, is there anything they could do to help you find a location? Is that sort of what you're...
I suppose that is the question. Yes, we have some, we're sports. It's almost like hockey a little bit, and it's very difficult to find places to play. And we have a whole thing we can talk about. But yeah, a lot of times when we've been directed in the past to talk with Partnership for Parks about doing this, one of the difficulties was this particular thing. Like there isn't a park that exists that is suitable. And we're trying to advocate for that. And I just, occasionally when there's like a specific park, like we're sort of working with St. Andrews Park in CB3 and what's his name? Jose? No, wait, what's his name? Anyway, there's a Partnership for Parks person who works there and works with the Friends group. So we've got like some interaction there, but when it's like the more general, like Brooklyn wide problem, like how do we find the best place with a like community that would like to like work with us? It's hard to find that. Especially when there's only like a
maybe we
couple of
could
us
help.
working on it.
Yeah, sorry about that. I know I saw you on that St. Andrews meeting call, and the catalyst person is Jose Disla, and then we have
Yeah.
Curtis Sherrod, who are there. I would say the best advice is to reach out to your outreach coordinator and let them reach out to the park manager or the regional manager. They know the parks, their staff knows the parks, and they will know more or less what would be the best fit for you. And then the next step would be for you to kind of visit that park with them based on their recommendation. I think if you take that approach, it will be better because I'm not sure what they were advising you in the past or who was advising you. And if you're not getting any help, always feel free to reach out to me because I've been in Brooklyn for some time. I also worked in Queens and I know a lot of the locations and I could assist you and then have Anya jump on board with us. Be more than happy to try.
Okay, thank you. So when you say outreach coordinator, that means like for the different community districts out there, there's different ones for each one?
Yes.
Yes,
So,
got it. Cool.
yeah, so that's where the difficulty will come in. But like I said, I've done Queens and I've done Brooklyn. So maybe this is a project where I could work with you directly and you reach out to me. So if you reach out to Anya, she'll forward my information and I'll try to do something to see what we could do. Definitely would like for you to be successful. I hate that that's happening.
Awesome. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. I'll reach out. Thank you.
So are there any other questions? See any hand raised, so I really appreciate your being here. I hope you both will come back on a regular basis. Love to have you as part of our group, and you're welcome to stay, but if you need to leave, we understand that. So and welcome aboard, Anya. So
Thank you so much. Thank you for having us as well.
Sure, cheers, all
Thank
agree.
you.
yes,
I'll just drop my information in the chat and then I'll say good night. Thank you for having
one
us.
second, Atea, yes.
I was just wondering, coming off of last month's meeting, I was wondering if anyone from P4P had any updates on the Friends of South Oxford Park situation.
I spoke with the chief of staff this morning to try to get, we've been speaking about it. It's been
Good.
ongoing discussion, just so you know, at the commissioner. So that's the commissioner's staff office. And there we share a headquarters in Brooklyn, which makes it great. We're right there in the same building and able to speak with each other, but we are a different component. But I did follow up with him most recently today. We had a conversation about it. And what the commissioner would like to see is specifically a letter perhaps, or, I'm happy to work with you offline as well, but stating what the community would like to see. So as far as the signage, if the community board is asking for the signage to be changed back to the previous signage, I know there were issues with the open and close times being changed. And then as far as the dogs, and the issue there, I think what the commissioner is looking for is specifically in writing the request to come from the community board, so that another sign doesn't get put in place that's maybe not exactly, if that makes sense, what you're looking for. So if that's something that your committee is interested in doing, happy to talk with you offline about it as well. If you want to just state what you're looking for specifically right here. The way that I understood it is that the hours had been extended. It was, I believe it was 7 to dusk before, and now it's 6 to 10 for the lockup and closing. But I think they wanted that rather than coming from me, if possible, to put it in writing so that it's coming from the board, specifically that you would want those times changed back to the previous times. And then as well for the dog options, there's a variety of different allowances in parks for dogs. So I think the commissioner would be interested in hearing like what specifically, if you want it entirely no pets, I believe, or the signs before. And now there's the different, the off leash is not allowed, but the on leash is allowed. So if you want to talk more about that now, we can, or
Well, I want to,
committee more.
Anya, thank you for sharing that with us. Our committee did at our last meeting vote to ask the board for a letter, to issue a letter of support on both of those issues. You know, to turn it back to the no pets, to turn it back to the 7 a.m. to dusk, and to ask that in the future, if a change like a major change like that was going to happen, to notify the friend or consult with the friends group beforehand, because there's so very much, as you probably know, involved with the care of that park. And last week, the full board voted in favor of that letter. So that letter will be going out soon, and it's good to hear that it's going to get a good reception when it arrives. So
That's great. Yeah, that's great to hear. I'll definitely let them know tomorrow to expect that. And then feel free to reach out, continue to reach out to your colleagues, your liaisons there directly. But I am also, even though I don't work for the commissioner's staff, we all are here at Parks working together, and we are in the same building. So I'm happy to be a resource to support that as well.
that's great. Okay, thanks for asking that question. So it's a really good answer. So again, thank you. And if there's nothing else, I'll look forward to seeing you again, and hopefully having the commissioner act favorably on that letter on behalf of the South Oxford Park. And I mean, that park in particular is a great example of what a vibrant friends group do for a park, and caring for it and looking after it. So, thank you. All right, we're moving on to chairperson's report. I don't have a major report to give you. I wanted to remind you that June 10th is the health fair that Hess is putting on, that we're helping with. And if you have any time to attend the fair on that day, or if you have some time that you then to help put it together or tear it down, and you haven't gotten in touch with Hess yet, or if you want to let me know and I'll let Brandon know, that would be great. And then I was thinking it would be nice if we had a meeting at a park. So, and I was thinking maybe our next meeting, or the June meeting, where the weather should be good, maybe we could talk about meeting at a park. And I was thinking perhaps South Oxford Park, since we're focusing on it a bit. I'm just throwing that out there for consideration, and I'll talk to Taya about it. We have gone on tours of parks in the past, so it wouldn't be unprecedented. And I thought it'd be nice to get out and meet each other in person and visit one of our parks. Along those lines, I also had asked, let me know what park they would like to look after. Hopefully one that doesn't have a fence. But I'm still waiting to hear from some of you about a park that you're particularly interested in. So that would be great. I will turn now to any other committee business. If any of the committee members have anything they want to bring to the attention of the full committee this evening. We have a number of people who are not on the committee. Would any of you, do any of you have something that you want to present in community forum? Shakara, do you have any updates for us on your program with the students?
No updates. They were on spring break this past week.
Oh, okay.
Be getting back into the swing of things again this week. But I would like to invite everyone to our Earth Day Festival this Saturday. It's happening from 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. in Fort Greene Park. And like last year, we're going to have a selection of activity stations that involve like different arts and crafts that are earth themed. People can go through, do these different activities, and then at the end win a free smoothie from Baya Bar. We also have some sustainability stations. So we will be hosting a book swap, a clothing swap, a plant swap as well, and a clothes mending workshop, just so, you know, we can get into talking about sustainability in the park, and that's kind of separate from the activity stations. I mentioned this as well because Green Team will be leading 4 of those activity stations in the park. So if you guys would like to meet the teens themselves and talk to them about the work they do and sort of see what sort of creative projects they've come up with to teach people about the earth and the environment and recycling, then that's also a great opportunity to do so. But yes, thank you for giving me the floor.
That's great. Sounds exciting. Thank you for sharing that. Does anyone else have anything? Nan Richardson, welcome to the committee. You're muted. You need to come off mute.
Sorry, we're the Friends of Hillside, and we're going to have a very simple Earth Day celebration. We're just going to have a big park cleanup and have everybody come out and clean up, spread mulch, do some, you know, tidying, and that's really about it. One thing
That's on Saturday.
That's a Saturday too. Also from like 10 to whenever we get done, 2-ish.
Did you want to say something else?
Well, you know, one of the things that I was thinking about when is that we've had some trouble like getting the water turned on. And last year it was much earlier, and this year it seems to be quite late. And given that crazy spike in weather to 90 degrees the other week, I know redoubled our efforts to try to get it on. But you know, I think with climate change, maybe we need to. They have to come physically to turn on the water. I guess there's no way to do it remotely, but that was a concern. We kept thinking we were going to have to postpone this event because of the water issue, and we just decided we'd go ahead, water or no water.
And I know you may have told us this in the past when we had our friends groups before, but how is the water? Where is the water there?
It comes in 2 locations. There's a kind of spigot at the very top of the park, right next to Columbia Street. And then there's a fountain in the lower part of the park where it's near Vine Street. I mean, on our, you know, eventual wish list would be to put in, it gets very, very muddy around the fountain. And, you know, I've heard a lot of dog owners concerned sometimes that the standing water around there could be dangerous for their dogs. So on our wish list eventually would be to get something like Pier 6 has, you know, a big concrete slab where the water comes out, and then they have a kind of dog washing spray thing. Anyway, it's a lot cleaner, and it's slightly above ground, so that, but I'm sure that would be very, very expensive. So it's one of those long-term capital budget asks, I imagine.
Yeah.
Something, Anya, that we should come to you and talk to you about? Okay.
And that also leads us to a friendly reminder to start thinking about projects I think are important in their priorities to in the next district statement of needs. So should start thinking about that. Okay. There's nothing else to discuss this evening. I would entertain a motion to adjourn. Andrew, okay. Is there a second? Richard, okay. Anyone in opposition or abstaining? All right, on that note, we will adjourn. And again, thank you to our guests, and don't be strangers. And I hope everyone has a good evening. Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.
Mm.
Don't forget